Hey everybody, it's Allison with Fly My Kids, and I am currently in the throes of trying to finish up packing for a trip to London that we have this afternoon, yes today, with my family. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit of like more of a last minute packer, but today I wanna walk you through my 2 carry-on bags. So let me give you a little bit of logistical breakdown from this trip. So we have myself, my husband, we have an almost 4-year-old and then a 10-month-old going on this trip, as well as my mom. And I'm so excited. It'll be her first time in Europe. So I can't wait for her to experience this with us. And of course, like, it's going to be great to have an extra set of hands. So I have packed 1 carry-on for myself, 1 carry-on for my husband. One thing to think about when you're trying to like configure carry-ons is think about the seating arrangement. For example, my husband and son will be sitting in front of us, so it'll be 2 seats, and then my mom and I will be sitting next to one another behind them, and my 10-month-old will be a lap child. I say that because typically we would only pack like our kids' stuff in more like 1 bag, and then Tyler, my husband, and I would share a bag with like non-kid stuff, like our gadgets and chargers and stuff. But given that we're not on the same row, I don't want to have to say, hey, I need a diaper for the baby, or him ask me, I need a snack for our older son. And so I figured that it makes sense to like split the bags. My baby and I split a carry-on, and my husband and son split a carry-on. So let me just walk you through what I've packed in these bags for this trip. It is about a 8.5, 9-hour red eye. So we board like 6:30 p.m. So I'm hoping the kids will get some good sleep. So first and foremost, iPad and headphones. Always check to make sure that your kid like is comfortable using headphones before a flight, that they know how to use headphones. All of those things I found are important ahead of time. Our son is used to it from flying quite a bit. Just accidentally turned on the camera here, so let me get this turned off. But he's used to flying. Honestly, like, I think what will probably happen is he'll watch a movie. We've downloaded a lot of his favorite shows and movies. He'll watch a movie and then probably fall asleep. Okay? Don't forget your passports. I don't use a fancy passport thing. I literally use a glad bag, but we're gonna have passports in there. Okay. Honestly, now that my son is just about 4, I don't really bring as many toys on the plane because he really can't. Like, he normally is either sleeping or watching a movie. We personally don't do screen time limits, but just in case, I did pack a couple different things. I packed one of these water wow things. You just add a little bit of water. He can color. It's not messy. And then one of these like mess-free coloring books where the markers only work on the paper instead. Like, you can't color on the seat or anything crazy like that. So we've got those 2 things just for activities in case we get bored. And then more snacks than you could ever dream of. You just never know what kind of snacks like the plane is going to have. I packed some for my husband too, so he doesn't get hangry. And then last, but certainly not least, and I will say my husband hasn't really added all of his stuff to this bag yet, so there may be a couple more items of his, but what we also will bring is the flyaway bed. And I do a full breakdown of this bed in another video, but I'm curious to see, this will be the oldest our son has been while using it, almost 4. He's pretty tall, so I'm curious like how the bed will work this time, if I feel like he's aging out of it or what. So that'll be an adventure, and I'll report back. Okay, perfect. So that is my husband and 4-year-old's bag. And then, oh my goodness, this is a heavy bag. And y'all, I feel like it's important to just be real because I just broke the zipper on my diaper bag maybe 30 minutes ago, and my husband is like, I told you not to pack this bag too full. And it's totally my fault. I packed the bag too full. We'll have to see, how we can make it work, or if I'm going to have to transfer this over to another backpack. But this thing right here is what actually, I think, packed it too full. I'll start here. My hope is, I just texted my mom and I said, Mom, do you have room for this in your bag? And I'm hoping that she does because I love this thing. This is a portable bottle warmer. Essentially, I just got done nursing my son, so he is fully on formula now. You can warm water up in here, and it's going to be chilly in London, and I just like the thought of him having warm water. It's super simple. You just pour the water in there, screw the lid back on, press the button. You can also warm breast milk up and you choose a temperature and it'll just start to rise. It tells you when it's done. I just turned it back off. Once you're done, you can pour it into here, pour it into the bottle, and you have a nice warm bottle. I'm also hoping that like a nice cozy warm bottle as the plane takes off will help my youngest sleep. Like my hope, since we really are flying like during his whole bedtime. So fingers crossed that he sleeps a lot. He's a big boy, so he'll definitely be like taking up a lot of space on me, but that's the hope. I like a neck pillow, so I kind of I always loop that around so it doesn't take up space. But let me walk you through this without trying to mess up the zipper anymore. Okay, more snacks for myself and maybe my mom. Got my Kindle. We'll see how much reading I do, but I always act like I'm gonna read a ton on these trips. Okay, snacks for the baby. I feel like if he's fussy and like doesn't want a bottle or is up, like this is honestly like, these aren't really that much food, but it's just entertainment as much as anything, like putting them out on the tray table and letting him like pick around on it. He's getting his pincer grasp, so he gets excited about that. Okay, let's see here. Alrighty, I love using like different cubes or bags, Ziploc. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I got these from Amazon, but just to divide everything out. So this one is serving two purposes, this particular pouch. I have a few toys. Think about toys that don't make noise. Again, my 10-month-old can play with a water bottle. So like, I don't need to really think about all the toys in the world. And I'm also hoping he'll sleep. But I've got a teether of this. I have a Sophie the giraffe here. Some of these little rings I think are fun to play with. And then I would say another thing I have in here that's important are 2 changes of clothes. I've made the mistake of only having one before. And my baby ended up wearing a What Happens in Vegas Stays in Vegas onesie after he had blowouts and threw up on a flight. We ran out of clothes. I also did not have an extra shirt on that flight. So now I pack an extra just like big t-shirt for myself that just in case something were to happen, you know, I have a change of clothes too. I did not pack extra pants. I'm hoping that I wouldn't need extra pants, but we'll see. I'll report back. Okay, I've got some medicine for me. I'm gonna try to take Tylenol PM just to be honest about that. Pouches for the baby. He doesn't get any meals on the plane. So when you are flying with a lap child, your child does not get meals. So just something to think about, like a 10-month-old eats real food. So although theoretically we will feed him dinner before we board the flight, if he's up and wants something, I just want to make sure that I have something easy. So I got him some pouches with like, really tried to look for some with good protein because he's old enough. He doesn't really like love pouches anymore, but at least if he's getting some, it's like something a little bit more nutrient dense. Okay, another thing here, diapers, bibs, and 1 burp cloth. He used to be a huge spit up baby. He does not really spit up that much anymore, but just in case, I have packed like 6 diapers. I think that's more than enough, like barring anything crazy happens, but you just never know. So I always like to kind of think, okay, how often do I typically change his diaper and add to? Because, you know, you could be changing them and like one falls into, I don't know, something yucky in the bathroom and you don't want them to use it. So better to be over prepared in that sense. You're probably seeing like how I have fit this much in the bag and why my zipper broke this morning. You know, you just do the best you can. Okay. Wipes. I like to bring a huge thing of wipes because I want this to be used in the diaper bag throughout the duration of the trip. So new wipes. Okay. This is pretty important. These are his bottles. So I'll kind of show you how I do this quickly. I think about like, okay, what hours are we going to be gone? What times does he normally feed? He's on a pretty good schedule. So I know that he would probably need 2 bottles while we are on this trip. Okay. But we know that babies can be unpredictable. So I packed a 3rd bottle, just in case. So I go ahead and I scoop out however much formula, he would have. And then I bring an extra bottle, so this has measurements on it. So that way I know how much water I need to put in the bottle. So if he's having a 6-ounce bottle and I know I need 6 ounces of water, I'll put 3 scoops of the formula in here. And then I'll buy, I'll bring an empty water bottle to the airport, use either the fountains there or a bottled water or something on the plane, and I can measure, and I'll measure and put it in here, okay? And then once it's warmed, I simply screw off the top, pour into the bottle, shake, 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 and we're good to go. So I find that so much easier than trying to scoop and do all of that on the plane. Like, that's really stressful, and heaven forbid, like, you drop it or you make a mess. Like, formula can be so messy. So that's how I like to do it, because, and also just thinking, like, you may need an extra bottle. You just never know. I have a changing pad in here as well. I love having a hand sanitizer attached just because, public restrooms. I put my charger in here. And then I need that, so hold on. I also pack wet wipes. Honestly, I don't really use them that much, but for some reason I put them in here. It makes me feel like I'm accomplishing something. I'm not sure. I can't tell you the last time I used those. I should probably take them out. Okay, this is important. These are literally doggy bags, like doggy poop bags, but these have saved me on a flight so many times. This is so great if your child has a blowout or a spit up or pees through or something like that, to where you don't want to like just have to throw the clothes away. I mean, maybe if it's like really bad poop, you say goodbye to that Carter's onesie or whatever. But if you're going somewhere with a washing machine, and you feel like you can get to your destination and wash it, you may not actually want to throw the item away. So what I'll do is I have these, and I will use one of these bags to put the soiled clothes in, and that way I can like stuff it way in the bottom of the diaper bag, and it will not ruin everything else. I also use it for like particularly like something smells really bad and you're in a hotel room and you have a diaper. I feel like it kind of helps contain that a little bit. So that is something that like is a must-have for me on these trips. Well, those are my 2 carry-ons. We're going to take you along on our trip to London in a different video, but I hope this was helpful as you plan for a long flight with your kiddos.